Let's be honest, Bengal Nation, this is starting to feel like a broken record. Week after week, we're watching the same story unfold. Explosive offense. Big numbers. And then, the defense collapses again. Cincinnati's defense was flat out shredded, nearly 600 total yards allowed, and for the second straight week, over 500 yards of offense given up. The Bears didn't just beat the Bengals, they bullied them. 283 rushing yards. That's domination at the line of scrimmage. Caleb Williams didn't even have to be elite. He was efficient, 280 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, because the Bengals' pass rush just never showed up. No pressure. No disruption. Just long drives and blown assignments. It's the same nightmare on repeat. Missed tackles. Poor gap control. No adjustments. You go up late in the game, force the Bears into a do-or-die drive with 1 timeout, and in just 3 plays, they go the length of the field and score. That's unacceptable football. Even the small things, offsides penalties, missed tackles, mental lapses, keep haunting this defense. Jordan Battle had a chance to make a key stop late but went for the highlight hit instead of wrapping up. And once again, it cost them. The worst part? The offense did its job. Joe Flacco threw for 470 yards, 4 touchdowns, yes, he had 2 picks and a fumble. But when your quarterback gives you nearly 500 yards of offense, you're supposed to win that football game. But the Bengals' defense didn't just bend, they completely broke. And until that changes, this team will keep finding new ways to lose games they should win. You can't say the Bengals didn't come to play on offense. T. Higgins was unstoppable. Another monster day with 7 catches for 121 yards and a highlight reel touchdown that had everyone on their feet. Ja'Marr Chase, as always, showed why he's one of the league's best, hauling in 6 receptions for 111 yards and making the impossible look routine. The offense delivered. The fans roared. But once again, the same story unfolded, the defense gave it all back. It didn't matter how many points Cincinnati scored, because when it came down to the final moments, the defense crumbled. Again. So here's the question, Bengal Nation, what's your one-word reaction to this defense right now? Frustrating? Embarrassing? Hopeless? Let me know your take, because mine's simple, broken. That's exactly what this defense looks like, broken in the worst possible ways. Now, on to the second big takeaway. It's time for the organization to take a hard look in the mirror. Because at this point, the coaching isn't working. The same mistakes happen every week, poor adjustments, wasted momentum, and zero accountability when things fall apart. Zac Taylor has had time, talent, and chances. But the results speak for themselves. This team is too good to keep losing games like this. The Bengals need real leadership, someone who can bring discipline, urgency, and edge back into this locker room. Until that happens, it doesn't matter how many yards Burrow, Higgins, or Chase put up, this team will stay stuck in neutral. And that's the truth Bengals fans are tired of living with. Now, let's talk about the situation that's got every Bengals fan talking, Trey Hendrickson and the looming trade deadline. Early this morning, Adam Schefter reported that Cincinnati has told teams they don't plan to trade Hendrickson. But here's the catch. Sources say if the Bengals lost again, which they did against Chicago, that stance could start to shift. And honestly, it should. Let's be real, Hendrickson is the heart of this defense. He's the one guy who brings consistent pressure, effort, and energy every single week. Trading him would hurt, no question. But the Bengals are now 3-6, the season's spiraling fast, and if this front office is serious about building for the future, they have to consider every option. That doesn't mean dumping stars for cheap. Hendrickson's value is too high for that. You're not getting a first-round pick, maybe not even a second, especially with the injuries he's been battling. But if there's a move that helps this team reset and reload around Burrow, Higgins, and Chase, it's a conversation worth having. Still, if we're being honest, history tells us not to expect much. The Bengals front office has rarely been aggressive when it matters. Every trade deadline, fans hope for bold action, and every trade deadline, they end up disappointed. So, as this one approaches, don't be surprised if Cincinnati stands pat again. Because right now, this team looks stuck, too talented to rebuild, but too flawed to contend. And that's the worst place to be. Here's the hard truth, Bengals fans, this roster isn't working the way it was built to. Now, even depth players like McKinley Jackson are reportedly requesting trades, but let's be honest, that's not moving the needle. His value right now wouldn't bring back much more than a late-round flyer. And unfortunately, that's become a pattern. Under Zac Taylor and Duke Tobin, too many of Cincinnati's top 100 draft picks have failed to develop into true contributors. That's not just bad luck, that's a systemic problem. If this front office doesn't start hitting on talent, the Bengals are going to waste the prime years of Joe Burrow's career. And look, accountability has to start somewhere. Fans have been calling for Zac Taylor's job, but if this trend continues, you have to look higher up. Duke Tobin's decisions on roster construction and draft value are a huge part of this mess. The Bengals can't keep patching holes with the same broken approach. So what now? Honestly, it might be time to start thinking like a team that's retooling instead of pretending to contend. Trading a few veterans, Logan Wilson, maybe even Trey Hendrickson if the offer is strong enough, could help the Bengals restock draft capital and reset their defensive identity. No one wants to see Hendrickson leave, he's a leader and a fighter, but if the Bengals can land something like a second-round pick, that might be the smart business move. Let him chase a title while you clean up the books and build a stronger core around Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. Because at this point, it's clear, this team isn't making the playoffs. The defense can't stop anyone, the front office refuses to adjust, and the coaching staff looks lost. It's time to start thinking long-term, build smarter, draft better, and finally give this city a defense that matches its quarterback's heart. So here's the question for Bengals Nation. Do you think Cincinnati will make any moves before the trade deadline? Or once again, will they just stand still and watch another season slip away? Type Y for yes or N for no. And just like that, another Sunday ends in heartbreak for Bengals fans. The final score, 47-42, Bears win, and once again, Cincinnati found the most painful way possible to lose a football game. When Andre Iosivas caught that late touchdown to give the Bengals the lead, nobody even celebrated. Because deep down, every Bengals fan knew what was coming next, a defensive meltdown. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Jordan Battle missed another key tackle, Caleb Williams escaped pressure, and the Bears went right down the field for the game winner. Before we jump into the rest of the analysis, make sure to subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a Bengals update. Alright, let's wrap this one up. The numbers tell the story: 576 total yards allowed, 283 rushing yards, and nearly 10 minutes lost in time of possession. That's not just bad, that's broken football. The offense scored 42 points, and it still wasn't enough. When that happens, it's not execution, it's identity. This defense doesn't have one right now. Special teams at least gave fans something to cheer about. Charlie Jones' 98-yard kick return touchdown, plus a recovered onside kick late in the fourth quarter. Even Evan McPherson nearly bailed them out, but his 54-yard attempt came up just a few yards short. It was the story of the day, close, but not enough. At the end of the day, it's the same feeling Bengals fans know too well. Another game that rips your heart out in the final moments. And as this season slides further away, the question isn't whether the Bengals can still make a run, it's whether this team has the leadership and discipline to stop beating itself. Because right now, the Bengals are talented enough to win every Sunday, but playing like a team that finds new ways to lose. We'll see what happens at the NFL trade deadline. We'll be live Tuesday breaking down every rumor, every move, and every bit of news that affects the Bengals' future. Stay tuned, subscribe, and join the conversation, because win or lose, we'll be here for every snap.